Hi, you've joined Mary Jane at Freedom Financial Solutions to talk about the self-managed super fund setup process and timeline. I'll just share my screen so I can take you through it. By now, you will know where our website is, freedomfinancialsolutions.com.au. You've got this homepage here. Here's our CEO, Catherine. Don't forget, we are a not-for-profit company donating all of our company profits to freedom causes. So what we're going to talk about today is the process and timeline, and you can find that on our order form. Either go here to the Services tab, SMSF Setup, or go down here, click here to find out how to set up an SMSF, and that will bring you to this page. This has a lot of very useful information. We encourage everyone, please read the commonly asked questions, introduction, and then followed by the more detailed questions. Pretty much guarantee all of your questions will be answered there. If they're not, we're happy to talk to you about those. But please start by reading these. Today, we're going to be starting with this order form. So this is the order form. We have another video about the order form. Please look at that. We'll go through all these fields in the other video. But today, we're going to be talking about the setup process and timeline. The process is very complicated. I can't understate that enough or overstate that enough, but we do 95% of it, and you only need to do 3 things. 1 is you lodge your completed order form, which is this form. 2, you return your signed legal documents, which is called the establishment documents. And 3, you approve the Macquarie Bank application. And that's all we ask you to do. We do the rest of it, and I'm going to go through this just to explain what the rest of it involves and consequently what the timeline looks like. So as soon as you've lodged your order form, which must have your tax file number, your director's identification number if you're applying for a corporate trustee, your certified primary ID, and a deposit of $660, which covers our immediate out-of-pocket expenses. Certified ID. What you need to do is take a photocopy of either the details page of your passport or the front and back of your driver's license. Take a photocopy of that. Search. If you don't know who can certify it near you, search online. Who can certify my ID in my state or my town? Commonly, you will find it's a justice of the peace or some qualified person like a qualified engineer or accountant, bank manager, solicitor, police sometimes, especially in small towns where you don't have a wide variety of options. The post office can sometimes do it also. So you need to certify your ID. Make sure that's sent in to us. If you can't attach it to the order form, sometimes there are uploading problems. Just send it to us after you've sent the order form in. Then you wait 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks, we give our legal department to produce your legal documents, which is the company registration, if it's a corporate trustee, the constitution, trust deed, trustee declaration paperwork, third-party authority, membership for application. Those sorts of documents is what we produce. We can sometimes do that faster. It might only take a week in some cases if we don't have 20 or 30 orders in the pipeline. We like to pleasantly surprise rather than disappoint, so we do have 2 weeks to do it. In our process timeline, there's no need for you to contact us during those 2 weeks. We will get back to you when those documents are ready. So we send them to you, and all you need to do is have your 2 witnesses ready to witness your signature and sign them and return them. Now, if you take a day, bang, the process chugs on with no delay. But if you take 4 weeks, which is absolutely fine, be aware that the process blows out by those 4 weeks. If you do take 4 weeks, then we will send you an invoice for the remainder of the process, the completion, because that is what it takes us to complete the process, and we ask for that payment at that time. But if you return it back to us straight away, together with your finalised rollover instructions, then we move to the next stage. I'll just briefly mention the rollover instructions because this is a brand new field on our order form, which is not in the setup video, in the order form video. We've included this here right from the beginning. And what you do is you put your outgoing super fund in there, the number, blah, 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 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. Rollover instructions. Do you want to roll over 100% of the funds in your outgoing super fund into your new SMSF or not? If you want 100%, click yes. That means that any insurances associated with your outgoing super fund will be cancelled and that account will close. So please think about that very carefully. If you don't want to roll over 100%, you click no and ask for a partial rollover, but you do need to enter whatever that amount you would like us to roll over is. There's a lot more detail about this in the establishment document video and also on the commonly asked questions. So have a look at that. So, but we asked for that information at the beginning, but you can change that up until this stage. If you change your mind, just let us know at this stage. Once we've got that, you wait 1 week while we apply for your SMSF's ABN and tax file number. And we do that on this website here using the Tax Professionals tab. That takes us a day. Half of the, or 80% of the time, we get that number, those numbers straight away. And we will send you an email with information about that. However, 20% of the time, the ATO marks the ABN to be reviewed, and we all have to wait 28 days before we can do anything. After the 28 days, we will call the ATO and ask what's going on. In 50% of those cases, they give it to us over the phone. The rest, they will say, no, we can't do anything. We have to escalate it. You have to wait another 28 days. There's nothing we can do. The ATO is its own master. In this case, if they have escalated it and told us we have to wait another 28 days, then perhaps you could give them a call and see what's going on. But otherwise, we just have to wait again. Usually, it's pretty straightforward after 28 days. The reason they're reviewing it is very often simply a common name. Please don't use super common names like, let's have a look. I looked up this one here. Look at John Brown. If you're using the word John or Brown, yeah, you're going to be put into review. Common words like Michael Smith, things like that. That's why we encourage people to think about a unique name for their self-managed super fund. And again, we talk about that in the setup, in the order form filling out video. So let's say you get your ABN, fantastic, but we still wait a few more days until your SMSF is marked complying. Again, this is the website that you can look it up. Let's just, we don't know, this is not one of our clients. See here, it says complying. Your super fund must be marked complying before we can apply for your bank account. If the ATO decides, even after you've got your ABN, that it wants to mark your SMSF election to be regulated, and we can see here it looks like this election to be regulated, then they give you a date, and again, we have to wait 28 days. So we will send you an email at regardless of what happens at this stage, we send you an email with some questions and answers for the ATO in case they want to call you. We don't often get told that they're going to call you. They will just call you and send you a text. You must speak to the ATO if they ask. You can tell them to wait and arrange a time to make sure that you're comfortable. We'll give you some commonly asked questions that the ATO will ask. Basically, the ATO wants to reassure themselves that you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and no one's coerced you. So, for example, in my case, I knew what I was doing. I wanted to, and why I was doing it. I wanted to have more direct control over my superannuation investment funds for my retirement, and I wanted a more diverse range of investments to choose from that my original outgoing super fund didn't allow. So that was and no one coerced me. I didn't necessarily know all the ins and outs as I do now. And that's why I hired professional accountants to guide me through the process. So that's really what the ATO is wanting to reassure themselves about. And of course, will you comply with their rules and regulations? This is a legal process firmly in that area of legality. The ATO does have rules and regulations that they expect an SMSF owner or a member to abide by. So as long as they're assured by that, they will mark your SMSF complying, and then we can move on to the next stage, which is the bank account application. We go onto Macquarie Bank back-end portal for advisors, and we click Open CMA, and we go through again another complicated process of applying for a cash management account for your SMSF. We put all the complicated details in there, and then we click Submit. That then goes to you, the primary member first, if there's more than one member, to review and approve. Really, the only things you need to be looking at there is your name, address, and your occupation, your ID, if you've been known by any other name. We leave that field blank, and if you haven't, then you just put no in there. Everything else we fill in, particularly the ABN, the tax file numbers, all relate to your self-managed super fund. They're not your numbers, so please don't change those. It is fairly straightforward. We send you an email with instructions, but the email that's most important is the Macquarie Bank email. Follow their instructions. If you're having trouble understanding their instructions, get a family member or friend to help you read through it. I have actually been on the phone with 1 or 2 clients to help them go through it. Strictly speaking, that's not something that we really want to be doing. This does need to be approved independently by you. So if you have trouble understanding their instructions, you could call the bank, or you could get a family member and friend to help you understand the instructions. The primary member needs to approve it first. That will then go to the second member. Then the second member will need to approve it, and third, and so on, if you have more than 1 or 2 members. At the very end, you will need to press, I think it's approve or submit, whatever button it says to get it through to Macquarie. Not just saving it, that won't get it through. We can see in our back end what it looks like and at what stage you're at. If we know that you think you've approved it but you haven't, we'll contact you and help you to kind of finalize that stage. Once you have submitted it, Macquarie will send you and us an email which says, great, please upload additional documents. And we do that for you. It will typically ask for a certified extract of your trust deed. So we will do that for you. Sometimes it asks for other things like a company statement, a company registration, or your ID. In any case, we will upload those documents for you, and then we wait. And so that's where we go back here, that we wait 1 to 2 weeks while we upload the additional documents, and then the bank processes your application. We simply have to wait. The bank has its own checks and balances. It goes through. Sometimes it comes through in 2 days. Sometimes it takes a week or more. It depends on the client and what they need to check, and also how many applications they have in their pipeline. We all cheer when the bank is opened, and we will again send you an email explaining what happens next. In summary, you wait a couple of days while we lodge what's called a third-party authority form, your certified ID, and a certified copy of the Macquarie Bank statement with your outgoing super fund. In some cases, we can simply email it. In some cases, we have to upload it to a portal. In about 10 cases, we have to mail it in. The original hard copy of those documents, we have to mail them into the funds. We do that by express mail, so it takes a day, and then we need to wait again while we request your rollover in our back-end system called BGLSF 360. We press buttons, we enter all your details. It's quite a complicated process. We do that and request your rollover. That then is sent to your outgoing fund, and they must do their processes. Now, when we've done this, we'll send you a wrap-up email with instructions about what happens. Sometimes your outgoing super fund might call you to verify your ID. In that case, call them, say, yes, I'm happy to verify my ID. Anything else they ask, please tell them you have authorized your accountant to act on your behalf, and you would like them to speak to us. We know that the outgoing super funds are keen not to let their money go very quickly, or your money go very quickly. So perhaps that's what's driving it, but they are taking much longer than the legislated 3 to 5 business days that it states that they should roll your funds over. And they will, for example, suggest that you need to do additional paperwork. We know exactly the paperwork that they do need by law, and we know the tricks that they play. So by all means, verify your ID. Other than that, please leave it to us. We watch every day. We see what's happening. After 7 days, we will call your outgoing super fund and say, what's going on? We can see these messages in the back end. What's going on? We know how to sidestep all their games and work very hard and long on the phone to get your funds rolled over, which is why we often can't pick up the phone when you call to find out what's going on. Please send us an email or send your account manager an email or me, and we'll tell you basically that we're chasing and what we've done. On very rare occasions, very, very rare occasions, we may ask you to call the super fund, but we prefer not to do that as we know how that can sometimes go wrong and delay the process even further. So we know you're enthusiastic. We know you want your money as quickly as possible. This is quite a complicated game of chess we play with the outgoing super funds. So please leave it with us and know that we are on it, chasing them down for you. In that wrap-up email, there will be a whole bunch of documents. We'll include all your signed and compiled trust deed, constitution, the company certified registration, your ABN, tax file number, letter of compliance, and our invoice. So when we normally give you a couple of weeks to pay the invoice after we've requested the rollover to take into account the time it takes. Obviously, if your money hasn't come in yet, you're welcome to wait until it has, and then we are very grateful when you pay the rest of the rollover. So on that note, have a look at the rest of the form here, watch the other videos, how to fill out the form, how to sign the establishment documents, an explanation of our fee structure. And if you do have other questions, we've got these interactive Zoom sessions with me about the process. If there's more complicated tax questions or investment questions, you might want to join Catherine. Or if it is a very personal individual question, then you will want to book in a one-on-one with Catherine. But again, going back to our, where is it here? Let me go back here. On this freedomffs.com.au SMSF setup page, we have introduction, commonly asked questions, and paperwork and management questions, and they are very, very detailed. This example here was updated yesterday to include even more. So on that note, thank you for listening, and happy to help you empower yourself through your direct management of your superannuation for retirement through a self-managed super fund. Bye for now.